Professor Chambi Puranik, quickly, how do you think that the Supreme Court's ruling is going to change the dynamics of bipolls in Karnataka?
See, first of all, before staying bipole, they have to look into the speaker's decision. That depends on that only. I slightly differ with Jagannath, though totally in spirit I agree with his point about the speaker's conduct. Speaker has no absolute mandate. He kept the resignation letter submitted by the MLAs, either in group or in separate or in 2 or 3 combinations, in dark. This is what I am taking quotation from the judgment of the High Court. So therefore, that question has to be answered. So the first one is resignation. Second comes the disqualification. And the reasons which Mr. Kapil Sibal...
just a moment, sir. Siddaramaiah Dinesh Gundarao had requested Speaker to disqualify the MLAs. Court examines Article 190 that talks about vacant MLA posts. Siddaramaiah Dinesh Gundarao there had requested Speaker to disqualify them. I'll quickly come back to you, but before that, Mr. S.A. Ahmed, as an advocate, Article 190, for the benefit of our viewers, quickly explain, please.
It is about after the disqualification, the constituency will become vacant. The position in the assembly, legislative assembly becomes vacant. That defines Article 190. 191 speaks about disqualification for membership. So because of the order of the Honorable Speaker under Sub-Article 6 of the in Schedule 10, which provides that the Speaker, any inquiry which Speaker deems fit, it is for his domain. That provision already in Ketohan case, it has been before the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court held that it is the domain of the Speaker. Okay. Now the thing is, because of the virtue of the order of the Honorable Speaker, now they are disqualified. So that seat, that vacancy, that assembly constituency is vacant for the elections to be conducted. This is what Article 190 speaks about. Vacation of seats.
No, read both of them
both conjoint reading, 190 and 191. Actually 191, because of 191, 190 happens. 191 speaks about disqualification for membership. A person shall be disqualified. These are all, this has to be read with Schedule 10. Once 191 happens, 190 comes into play.
No, my question as a legal novice is, they had lost confidence in the House and they resigned from the House. But how does it attract anti-defection is as a legal novice I'm asking.
Well, I'll come to that quickly here. Maharashtra BJP government had extended cooperation. MLAs were lodged at Sofitel Hotel with tight security. There, Kapil Sibal continuing with his arguments. Quickly, I'll come back to you, Santosh, and your point. Even I want to discuss it. But Professor Puranik, you were to complete your point, please.
See, that's why I said Mr. Jagannath gave benefit of doubt to Speaker, saying that the time factor doesn't matter. Now, exactly the same question Supreme Court will look into it today. You please watch the judgment little later. I'm not a judge or an advocate in Supreme Court, but I can say under the circumstances, the Supreme Court is seized of the matter of the delay, and the preferential treatment of accepting or rejecting or disqualifying or allowing them to be MLAs is already done by the Speaker of Karnataka Assembly. Because Umesh Jadav's application was accepted and he was allowed to resign the party and go and contest election, and later you know the history. So therefore, keeping it in dark is not a thing to be respectful. It is a violation of the constitutional spirit. Mr. BJP's spokesman was telling about being a novice and all that. No, these are all very simple questions which repeatedly in Supreme Court and High Courts, many of them have said. Nowhere court has rejected the judgment of the High Courts. So I'll come to one more point before I conclude on this. But the rest our other experts can enlighten on us. The relationship between an MLA and the Speaker is not relationship between an employer and the employee. MLA is also equally independent, just like the Speaker. Speaker has...
Just a moment, sir. They induced disqualified MLAs promising cabinet berths, says Kapil Sibal. Disqualified MLAs were enjoying luxurious stay at a star hotel. They induced disqualified MLAs promising cabinet berths.